I like loaded into the game and I was just like running up to different Digimon and being like, oh my god, look at this one. Oh my god, this one's a big star. That's crazy. Oh, that's a Pegasus. Is that a monkey? Like, I was just like, and then because I knew, I was like, hey guys, like, don't spoil me or anything, but like, if I can see a Digimon, I can probably have it, right? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, let's begin the wish list. So like, I remember getting into the bar and like Lilymon, I was like, I want her. And then like Asta was behind the bar and I was like, I want that one. I want him. I'm like, I don't know how to get him, but we're gonna get him in the party. Like, I was just pointing to everything. It was so much fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bandai Namco podcast, where we give you exclusive behind-the-scenes look and deep dives into the games you love with the people who make them possible, and of course, the people who love them. And that is especially true today as we are talking Digimon Story Time Stranger with two fans of Digimon who... one you may recognize, one may be a new face to the Digimon fans, but we are so happy to have her in the community. My name is Tanner. I am a social media manager at Bandai Namco, and I am joined by two very special guests. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm KarnEX. I talk about Digimon all the time, probably more than I ever should be, but I love it. And yeah, KarnEX over on YouTube. It's really good to be here.
Hi, I'm Jahara Jayde. I hadn't touched Digimon until literally last fall when Time Stranger came out. And now I'm a diehard fan and I'm obsessed. So I'm excited to be here and absolutely geek out about this game. I have like almost 200 hours in Time Stranger, so.
Woo! And nothing to sneeze at, but Karn, if she called out her hours, do you have hours on the top of your head of Time Stranger?
Not off the top of my head. So here's the problem. I played this game on a PS5, Steam, but then also like put in hours at events prior. So I don't think I've got it off the top of my head. I'm just going to see
a rough ballpark. Is it over 4 digits?
Oh gosh, you know what? It actually might not be. You know.
Oh no. Got to get those numbers up,
because I put so much into combined. Absolutely, what we're looking at. So I'm looking on Steam 221 actually. Not too crazy. Not too
just
crazy.
Just on Steam alone.
Just on Steam. And probably like another 100, 150 on PS5.
All right. So, Jahara, you're actually coming for the crown a little bit.
There were so many Digimon to just evolve. It was amazing.
It's your turn now to have a notepad document up at 2 a.m. going, what if this thing happened in Digimon?
Oh, I love it. I had a whole like Digivolution list notes in my notes app for like what like all of the different attacks and like stats I needed to like increase to get to certain evolutions. It's the first time I've ever had to take notes in a game, and I did it happily.
Yeah. I kind of liked it. As much as I'm looking forward to some of the quality of life stuff in the new updates that are coming. See how professional I am?
Yes.
I really like that kind of like, it felt almost like when I was a kid gaming, like taking pictures of what I needed to evolve and then taking pictures of what I needed to digivolve and then going into the farm and then being like, okay, so this is this picture, got to try and cross-reference this with which different item I need and stuff. It felt very like 90s gaming to me.
Yeah, I had an Excel spreadsheet up of like the stat values that I needed and like where I wanted to go, the directions I wanted to go for each one, and like I'm really big into that in games for whatever reason of like, how can I make this a spreadsheet? How can I lay this out?
I've got to show you my spreadsheet sometime. I will do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, for videos and for professional
gamers get together stuff. And they're like, let me show you my spreadsheet, bro.
But buckle up, everyone. This podcast is about to be a spreadsheet review. But let's talk, Digimon Story Time Stranger came out. It was not quite a year ago, but we're getting close. And we are releasing on Nintendo Switch 2 very soon as well. But let's think back a little bit, Karn a little bit further back. Jahara, it seems like it's more recent for you. Of what were your first impressions when you actually got your hands on Time Stranger for the first time? Any order.
Okay. So for me, it was my first time in LA, and it was in a very interesting... It was at Summer Game Fest.
Oh, that's
so
true.
I'd seen the trailer, obviously, like a billion times. Thanks for hanging out in chat on that one, Tanner. But then, so obviously I'm in this room, and it's like, it's got all the Time Stranger finery. And then I'm told that immediately after, Hara's going to come in and producer Ria Skahara is going to come in and talk to me. So I'm just having like 10-year-old Karns. Like I'm expecting to wake up in a minute and there's nothing happening. And just seeing, so it was Central Town, and just seeing like the amount of Digimon, like I've never seen in a Digimon game, let alone a 3D Digimon game. And it was just like someone going, here you go, we've made this for you. This is exactly what you've always wanted. Congratulations.
Oh, I love that. It makes me emotional. I'm like, that's so sweet. For me, I'd been leaning into nostalgia and just things from my childhood. I heard a lot of really good things about Time Stranger. And they're like, if you want to like find something from like your childhood, you should try the new Digimon game. A lot of people are really enjoying it. And I was like, I know nothing about it, but like, let me jump in. And the first thing, like my first impressions were literally in the game because I didn't watch a single trailer for it. I actually like to go into games as blind as possible. So I'd only ever seen the cover art. So that was my only impression jumping into it. And I was like, wow, like the graphics are beautiful. I love how saturated Time Stranger is. It's so bright. And I was immediately just enthralled. I wasn't even prepared for like where we were gonna go in the game. Like we were in the sewers and I was amazed. Like, so my first impressions were like, oh, this is gonna be really, really fun. It just felt like so like whimsical. But I was also surprised to see that it felt like the games had, even though it's from my childhood, like that it was like I was like an appropriate age for it. I was like, this feels like it's for me. Like I feel like this is a good like entry level for like where I'm currently at in terms of what I desire for like story and gameplay. And it was all just really positive first impressions.
So did it feel like what I want to ask is, when did you like really feel like you were hooked on it? But it kind of sounds like from the very beginning. Or was there like a specific moment in those opening hours that you were like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and keep playing this for a really long time?
There's a couple. The first moment that I can recall feeling that way a little bit is actually the very first time. So you get your Digimon when you're in the sewer and you do the initial attack. So they explain kind of briefly like what a Digimon is, right? And again, never having seen or dabbled in Digimon before, when they attacked, they called out their attack, and there's a clip of me, and I literally screamed, "Oh my god, it talks!" I wasn't expecting it, and so I was like, and they were like, "Yeah, girl," and I was like, "I told you guys, I don't know anything." Like, oh, they speak. And then, like, as you're, like, walking, they, like, will, like, try and, like, chat with you and just be like, these are my hopes and dreams. Like, what do you think? And I was like, I'm like, this is the cutest thing. We're going to be best friends, you and I. And then there was a moment where usually I stream for a living and everything like that. So I'm always playing games. I stream really, really often. So I actually don't really play games in my off time because so much of my time I spend like 10 hours live daily. And I realized I probably loved this game when at one point I fired it up after stream and was playing because I wanted to get enough Digimon to convert to, and at that point I was committed to 200% or bust. So I was like,
you got it.
I was like running through the sewers, just like on like auto battle, just like trying to get as many Digimon as possible. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be good, isn't it? It was the first time I think in years that I booted up a game off stream just to play because I wanted to keep going. And I had to like show up the next day and be like, guys, I'm really sorry. I played a lot last night when you guys didn't see.
Spent hours grinding out conversion rate in the sewers without you guys. I'm so sorry.
I had like 30 Bukamon. It was crazy.
It's so easy to do though. Like say, I mean, obviously I come as an existing Digimon fan, but specifically with Time Stranger, there is that thing of just like, well, I could just do a little more. Like I do a little bit more converting, or I could go and do this little thing. And yeah, I found myself doing the same thing where I'd end a stream or I'd stop doing whatever I was doing for a video. And then I'd go to bed and just pull out my portable and be like, but just a little, just do some, go to the Digifarm. They don't need to see me do this on stream.
My husband actually bought me a portable for, I was playing it on PlayStation 5. He bought me a portable so that I could play in bed. Strictly for Digimon Time Stranger.
Game changer.
I feel like that means something.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with this Switch launch, I think there's a lot of people who are waiting to play it because that's the only console they have.
Yes.
But that level of like wanting to do more and find, even again, if you're not progressing the story, just doing the sort of raising element, I think is so addictive in this game. It's amazing.
It's fantastic. I think the fact that it's going to be available on the Switch 2 is just going to be life-changing for so many people, because like playing Digimon like on a plane, I wish.
You guys are actually, I'm realizing now that this is a danger. I feel like we should have a disclaimer of like, if you buy this game on the Switch 2, you can farm at any time, and we want to really specify at any time you can go do this. So
but
raise your Digimon responsibly.
Sleep schedule? Not really, right? You should probably just go to the Digifarm.
You can time it around the farm. You can be like, okay, this will take 45 minutes, and for 45 minutes while that's happening, I'm gonna go do this. Like you
just leave it on standby in the farm.
I literally did though.
I was the opposite way. I got all the money and just spammed it so it would finish really quick.
I finished that game rich. You can't take money from me.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of a tough question, and this is more towards you, Karn, as a longtime fan of the series and being so entrenched in the Digimon community. Outside of that first announcement trailer, what do you think was there any big moments that you can kind of point to in the lead up to the game's release that the community, I mean, we know the Digimon community, right? We know that the Digimon community loves Digimon and is going to show up no matter what. But was there any moment in the Digimon community where they were like, oh, this is going to be the good one. This is going to be the huge one?
I think so. So honestly, because we've been anticipating a title for a while, I think that trailer showing up at a state of play, which is a big deal, right? Like it being at a big event like that and being so bombastic with the animations, we could hear voice acting. I think it was English in the state of play. And so that was a really major impression. Obviously, streamers like me and people in the Digimon community are reacting to it. But then I think the moment that I really felt the pendulum start swinging with Digimon fans, but also kind of maybe lapsed or casual Digimon fans as well, was when they revealed Digiride and did the Digiride trailers.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone was like, wait, what? Like, Lydramon, Beelzemon, like, we can be on his bike? Like, I've wanted to do that since years ago when I first saw him, So I think that was a big one. And then I think just seeing the roster as well, I think was really important to a lot of people and it having grown since the previous title. So, yeah. Those are kind of the three that I think of most clearly.
I have this distinct memory of when we were it was sort of before the game had announced, and Harasan was in our office, and we were talking about it and planning, and I turned to him at one point and I said, I just want to be sure, okay, maybe this was a dumb question in retrospect because of course, but I looked at him and I was like, is Gallantmon in this? And he looked at me, and I'll never forget, he went, of course. And I was like, okay, good, sold. And he was like, Crimson Mode 2. I was like, yes, great, awesome. I'm glad we're on board.
Hara, I've only met Hara once. It was at that Summer Game Fest. And I had an experience where they were like, okay, we're going to bring him in now and you can ask him some questions about it. I cheekily asked him if Lydramon was going to be rideable in the game and if it was going to be in the game. But he walks in and I go to introduce myself and he goes like this, no. And the translator just goes, he knows who you are. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's been so cool getting to actually meet Harasan and work with him because he has that passion and he knows the community as well.
Yeah. I'm very excited for his tenure, and wow, my chair just went on me. Fingers crossed that he's going to maybe do some events in future that I can talk to him again because he's really cool.
Well, we'll let him know. So switching gears a little bit, I think we've kind of touched on this, Jahara, about as a newcomer, what sort of grabbed you about it, but if you were to, your chat was there telling you, hey, you should really try out this game. And now that you've experienced it yourself, what would you say to someone who is like, oh, what's this Digimon? What's this Time Stranger game about? Like, what would be your elevator pitch as a newer fan?
Oh my goodness. I get that question all the time in chat, and like I get just like big plate saucer eyes when somebody asks that. Cause you're like, what's this game about? And you're like, what's this game about? Oh my goodness. I'm like, well, Digimon, I'm like, think like monster tamer, but also meets fantastical traditional RPG. And but also like you get to raise them. So I'm like, so you're raising these monsters that can go from baby dinosaurs to tanks or baby dinosaurs to mothers, depending on how you raise them. And I'm a big fan of both options. So really, like
Mhm.
the floor is yours, and then you have this amazing cast of characters based on like Greek and Roman mythology, and you're gonna go through this story to essentially save the world. Classic save the world storyline. Big fan. Twists and turns. Really in depth story and with amazing character designs. So I highly recommend them. Like it's can be pretty grindy, but in a way that like you're gonna want to do that because the rewards that you get for the efforts that you put in are so incredibly massive
Mhm.
that you will forget all of the effort that you put into actually getting each of your monsters. And then each of the boss battles. I'm like the boss battles, if you like to be challenged and you like turn-based combat as well, the boss battles are really going to challenge you to make sure that you have not only a team that is visually attractive but also very balanced. I'm like, in my humble opinion, but also like very balanced. And it kind of like walks you through it in a way that's like literally like do or die, which is how I prefer to operate in a video game. You never feel like I never felt like the difficulty spike. Talking to the person, like, I never feel like the difficulty spike is unfair. I feel like it's always just like a new challenge that crops up. So each battle is unique, and they just never get boring. Um, yeah, but I would just keep
Well,
going, but
well,
we'll end it there.
we got off the elevator about 35 seconds ago, but we kept walking with you out the elevator because we were so enthralled. But you touched a little bit on the story there, and I want to take a minute to talk about the story a little bit. We may get into spoiler territory, so if you want to avoid spoilers, you may want to skip ahead here. But like, let's talk about the story, because the story of Time Stranger, I think it kind of has, let's say, 3 sections or 2 sections where you start off at the beginning and it does feel like that very traditional RPG story, and then there's a point where it shifts, right? So let's talk a little bit, Karn, if you would, maybe summarize the sort of beginning part of the story of Digimon Story Time Stranger.
Sure. So at the start of the game, you're introduced by a mysterious child in a theater to this world where you play as an agent, Dan O'Canan. And there is strange phenomena going on. You discover Digimon, your own Digimon partner, I guess, to start with. And eventually meet Inori, and she forms a bond with a Digimon called Agiamon, and it kind of takes you through into the digital world Iliad, which, by the way, just phenomenal. Just something I've dreamed of for years and had finally seen in action. And then, you like Jahara said, it's saving the world. You know, there is a great conflict between Digimon and human throughout this initial thing, and then Digimon as well with the Titans. And it's kind of like finding your way through these 3 tribes and working out how to kind of reach some kind of peaceful resolution between all 3, to the backdrop of incredible Digimon fights, great vistas, some of the best times I've ever had with a video game ever. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think there's also a big critical sort of flashpoint in the game.
Oh, sure. I didn't know if I wanted to dive into that. Okay, sure.
No, yeah, please do.
So during the opening of the game, you end up at the top of the Tokyo Metropolitan building, right? I feel like I'm fake fanning right now. And you encounter a Titan of some kind coming through a wormhole, which kind of sets off the time in Time Stranger and sends us 8 years back, which is, again, where we meet Inori and a lot of the other cast of characters. And it is that key hook for the game as to what's going on in the future and the past, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What would, I think this is, I think you're doing a great job of not wanting to spoil anything for people. And I
Yeah.
think that when it comes to talking about the story of this game, I think there is so much that feels very, very like you have to experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're playing through that first section of the game, that you're like, okay, you've been blasted back into through time, and you need to stop this cataclysm from happening, the Shinjuku Inferno. You have to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
And it feels very like this is a straightforward issue. I have a grand quest. We need to fix it. And then you're playing through the game, and you're like, okay, I feel like I've been to all the areas of the game at this point. But it's only been like 20 some odd hours, 25 some odd hours. This doesn't feel right. And then like then the story just kind of flips on its head. And I think that's what we're trying to talk around, that things change dramatically after that point. And you do kind of have to stay with it through that period where you are playing still bombastic boss battles. You're raising your Digimon for the first time. That's the other thing. You get to that point and you're like, okay, I'm still only at like champion level.
Right.
Like, I know there's so much more. What's going to happen next? And, you know, if you stick through it to that point and then it just goes off and it becomes just a total tonal shift. And that's something I kind of want to talk about. Jahara, as far as the tone of this game, what would you describe like across the entire game? You know, obviously it has changes, but what would you say is like a dominant tone or vibe that you felt Time Stranger was going for?
I felt like the beginning of the game really feels like kind of like your traditional save the world sort of RPG. And I agree with you that it feels like it's really straightforward. You're like, there's a cataclysm that's going to happen. We are now in the past and we're going to try and prevent said cataclysm from happening. And you feel like that's kind of what's going to go on. And you almost get to the point where you feel like you're like, I've done everything and I've met everyone to fix this, but like I feel like there's more happening. I feel like I also have a unique perspective, or someone who hasn't played Digimon before has a unique idea, because if you've played Digimon, you kind of have an inkling of like there's more from here, like because you know through the different Digivolutions levels. I have no familiarity with like champion versus ultimate, or like where the potential of my Digimon could go, so I couldn't tell that like there was no like tell that there was more, other than the fact that I was like, this feels like it's ending too soon, like everything's just going so well kind of thing. And the huge tonal shift that I personally fell in love with is everything is like really brightly colored and like fun, and even though like things are like moderately serious, it's all very much like we're heroes saving the world and everything's gonna be fine. And then everything is suddenly not fine.
Very not fine.
Very not fine, yeah.
And it just like flips it on its head, and it's just like, you thought this was like straightforward. It's not. And like you're like ripped away from the party of characters that you've been with this entire time. Like one is just gone. The other one's also gone, but like in a worse way, and it's just like having a whole grief moment. And you're like, well, now I'm alone. And you start to like, I loved when you go back and you're re-meeting the cast of characters that you've met up until this point, and you're like, hey, yeah, I'm alone now, like I don't really know what's going on, like can we talk about it? And they're like, yeah, it's been like 8 years. And you're like, gosh, shoot, this time thing again, crazy. You look good though, you look good. That was one of my favorite things, was seeing again with no familiarity with Digimon. I had no idea like what Digimon potential were in terms of Digivolutions. So it was also fun for me to like meet the older versions of them and be like, and not know until they said it, like, I'm this one. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. You look good, King. Like I was having a great time. And then it just gets so deeply serious, because if I can't say, do cut this part, but people start dying.
Yeah.
Like, and I was flabbergasted, because until that point, the tone really gave me the impression that this was not the sort of game that would go there. That the levels of danger were kind of like imagined, like more like in the child show, where they're just like, we have to save the world, but like no one actually gets hurt really in the process. We just get like our feelings hurt, and we like grow together as friends. But people were actually getting hurt, and I just remember, because I started crying, because I love how the time element was used to give us a chance to really get to know each group of characters from like each sector. So when things developed in a certain way, it was like really, really impactful and really, really solemn. And things actually felt really stressful in a manageable way, but like I all of a sudden didn't feel like the outcome was guaranteed anymore. I think I was feeling very much like plot armor leading up to that point, and I was feeling a lot less plot armor at that point. I was like, maybe we don't maybe however this turns out is not in the way the most ideal situation. Like maybe we don't all get out of this. Maybe this isn't how I thought. Also, the complexities of like the legend that we thought we were a part of is a completely false narrative as well. Like, so now it's like, I don't even know what to believe. And so they turn that on its head, right? There's like the Aegeomon and then that. And then later on, they turn that narrative on its head too in like the craziest way with like the agent story. And I was too busy. They really get you. They really get you. But yeah, I would say the biggest tone shift is that things get really serious and feel a lot more high stakes quite suddenly, actually. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the story, because I think it's a lot more mature than the game really intentionally leads on. Gives you the impression of in the beginning. They're like, everything's fine. We're just like friends, chilling. It's gonna be great. We're gonna go back to school after this.
Yeah, you start the game and you're just this agent in this bright greenish outfit that like literally people keep stopping you like, are you cosplaying? And then the world ends and you're still wearing that costume and you're just like, oh, this is a clown costume actually. I am a fool.
Yeah. That's something I actually really like. My sort of observation of like specifically the background character of Agent Alpha that's kind of permeates throughout the narrative. And I love how that, like Jahara was saying about that tone shift and how it feeling very like kids Saturday morning vibes initially, I think is a perfect allegory to the character that Agent Alpha seems to be, that we see in the posters and stuff like that. Jahara, did you get to watch the anime prelude for Time Stranger?
I did. And I bawled my eyes out. And I told chat, I hate you guys for showing me this.
So I think that represents exactly where we see the difference between like, oh, fun, campy kid, we're going looking for occult stuff with Hiroko, to, no, things have just got real and people's lives matter. And a lot of it is through the selfishness of a lot of adult type people, whether they're humans or Digimon. But then also we see that the one person that throughout each timeline kind of keeps the faith and does things how they're supposed to is Monica, who is a huge fan of the Saturday morning cartoon character and kind of keeps those values despite all the horrors of the timeline 8 years later, you know?
Speaking of characters, we've talked about a couple here. There are a decent amount of important human characters in this Digimon game. You may not believe me, but it's true. Were there any for you guys, Jahara and Karn, that you really latched onto, like the human characters?
Yeah. I mean, so it was easy to really like the Bureau initially. I just love the suits of like Asuna and Shota and Kuremi. And then obviously after 8 years, Asuna's costume also develops, which, you know, is something worth noting.
She's like, this is fine. I have no complaints about my outfit.
Yeah, I just love the concept of Monica just being like, well, you're a hero. You have to dress like a hero. This is a hero's costume, I guess. But yeah, I think the Asuna and Monica in particular for me, because again, Monica keeps that kind of like, I really was expecting actually a villain twist for Monica because she does all the experiments on Aegeomon in the kind of 8 years in the past. And I thought, well, that's something that quite naturally leads to something like the Giant Slayer, you know? So the fact that Monica kind of keeps this optimism even when she's exhausted and then kind of drags Asuna from the bad guys almost into her little crazy ideas is just, it really stood out to me. And I never had a point where I was like, oh, these kind of, they've reached the limit of what we can do with them. I always felt like something else was making me endeared to them as the story went on.
I have to agree. I was worried when we move back into the future and we see like what has become of like the human and the Digimon relations, and we see that like weapons are being built. I feel like the characters, both the human and the Digimon, stay really true to who they represent as like their archetypes, because I feel like sometimes in stories they'll be like, this is the sort of character they are, but then they'll write actions into the character that don't necessarily align with who they think we want them to be or who the author wants them to be. But I felt like going forward and seeing that she had ultimately left, I was like, this feels good, because I felt like her passion had nothing to do with malice, and that it wasn't like passion for at the expense of Digimon, even though like she was a little weird with it, maybe a little maniacal with the experiments, but like there was still like goodness under her. So I was like, that makes sense. I would have been heartbroken if she actually had stayed. I've been like, no, it doesn't feel like her at all. But my favorite human character was Hidoko. Which is odd because I wouldn't even necessarily say that I liked her. But I appreciated her the most, primarily after we do the second time skip. And she's just like, yeah, you, my friends, disappeared for 8 years, and now I live in your house. Um, and at no point, I kind of felt bad because I was like, at no point did like Inori really give her like the like, that must have been hard for you. I'm really
Yeah.
sorry. Like, you dedicated your entire life to finding, like, first of all, when we were friends, you were dedicating your entire like adolescent life to like cheering me up and helping me find out what happened to my brother and my mom. And then I disappeared and you dedicated your entire career and your lifeblood to finding me and what happened to me. And then I showed back up and I was like, yeah, this is what happened. Anyway, I'm gonna dip again. And I was like, I kind of like felt for her. I was like, every time like we had a mission with her, I was like, let's go see Hiroko, because like only a couple times did she crack a little bit and just be like, you could have called or like let me know. Like I was like really sad and like I'm just living in your house and your dad's just like super depressed out like making weapons and I don't really know what he's up to. So I loved her, actually. It was a really big shift from the character that we meet initially to like who she becomes later, even though she still stays extremely sunny throughout what I would say is a pretty traumatic time, actually.
Yeah.
I think Hiroko actually really does illustrate that kind of that almost schism we talked about, because like you say, in the past she's always really sunny, but in the past she's always very excitable and doing these silly occult things, and like to the point where I was joking when I was streaming it about the amount of time she'll like pass out from fear, and we just leave her.
We do. We just left her there.
Yeah, and then and then you see the 8 years later that like that was kind of intentional, in as much that like, yeah, we haven't been as good a friend to Hiroko as she's been as good a friend to Inori and us, a guy or a girl that just appeared from in the middle of Shibuya and started hanging out. And I think it does actually make you think, oh, like, yeah, that second sort of part of the game brings everything back to reality again. I think you start appreciating how selfish even a good character can be, you know?
Yeah, I think it's really juxtaposing as well, because like even though she's quite different than she was in the past, I feel like she has the most consistency of character compared to, like, for example, Inori's dad. Like how she hasn't let like what's happened to her really affect like her like overall like demeanor and like outlook on life in terms of actions. And I admired that about her, because like it's very different from how Inori's dad was, which as a parent myself, I get, but still. I like her a lot.
All right. Well, there's one more thing I want to talk about before we close it up for today's episode, and that's the digital world Iliad. Karn, you mentioned the first time you walked into Central Town that it just floored you, and I would love to hear you maybe talk a little bit more about why that was and why going to digital world Iliad was so meaningful to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like I said, I've had a very particular journey with this game. Knowing of it conceptually, obviously there was some public information and stuff. And so really anticipating a game set in the digital world Iliad, which in comparison to some other digital worlds like the Royal Knights are kind of from the Yggdrasil server, we hadn't seen a ton of exploration, certainly like in English media, of Iliad. So I had no real preconception of what it would look like. Obviously, I'd played previous titles and kind of gotten used to how they looked. And so I didn't really know going into Time Stranger how that would be. So again, obviously this very like special situation, I'm playing the game and it's initially the scale. because you get that big zoom out when you get the title, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like this is the town. This is not just sort of like, it's over there, but don't worry about it. There are things here. And then that first experience I had, and again, obviously, I'm so jealous of like Jahara and people who are coming to the first time because they get to see all these creatures with no idea. But I get the other experience of, I haven't seen this in a video game for 10 years. You know, like there's Botamon hanging out, or like, you know, whatever it might be. And then I see Pegasusmon at the end of the thing, and I'm like, Pegasusmon as a prominent NPC. And I think that was just every corner you could look, there was a reference to something. There was Lopmon and Terriermon hanging out, cuddling. There was Sylphimon down by the bar. And just having that be like my first experience of this game was like, oh, they care. And there is something special to this world. And then finding out that I could go even deeper than I thought I could. So yeah, I think that's why Central Town, I think, is so great for existing Digimon fans, but then I think also for new Digimon fans, it's just a big, this is Digimon. Welcome in, you know? Like, here's everything we have to offer.
Yeah, I think that big pull away, like you were saying, and it shows the title, Jahara. I know that's a very specific moment, but do you recall kind of your reaction the first, because you come into the digital world and again, you're kind of in a sewer and then you pop up. Do you remember what that was like for you seeing it for the first time?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I think it's really special to think as well, up until that point, we spent a lot of time. The only time I was running into Digimon in the human world was in the sewers. So like we were like literally in the sewers. It's dark, it's gray, and I was still having a good time because I was seeing Digimon for the first time. But when we come up from those sewers, which I feel like was a really beautiful and intentional shift to have us enter the Digimon world in the sewers and then come out of the sewers. So like it really shows like the difference there. And you come up and it was like the brightest, most colorful. I remember just gasping. Like I think there's a clip of it of just me being like, oh my God, this is amazing. And like Karin said, I didn't know any Digimon at that point. So like I like loaded into the game and I was just like running up to different Digimon and being like, oh my God, look at this one. Oh my God, this one's a big star. That's crazy. Oh, that's a Pegasus. Is that a monkey? Like I was just like, and then because I knew, I was like, hey guys, like, don't spoil me or anything, but like, if I can see a Digimon, I can probably have it, right? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, let's begin the wish list. So like, I remember getting into the bar and like Lilymon, I was like, I want her. And then like Asta was behind the bar and I was like, I want that one. I want him. I'm like, I don't know how to get him, but we're going to get him in the party. Like, I was just pointing to everything. It was so much fun. And it's fun to learn actually in retrospect that this was something new for Digimon fans in general, but it was where I was like, oh, because I had no idea. I just thought the whole game was going to take place in Japan. I had no clue that there was even a digital world. I thought, because again, without any knowledge, that the Digimon were just in the human world, and that's where we interacted with them. I didn't know they had their own world, let alone one we could go to and spend time in. Yeah, that I was locked in. That was the best. I love Iliad.
I think that's the beauty there, right? Is that they have really struck this balance where, you know, we can both appreciate it from completely different ends of the scale and then also kind of meet in the middle on some stuff. Like I spent so much time theorizing on stuff that when I saw things I theorized about actually, even in the initial trailer, actually happen, it blows my mind. But then also, spoilers, there are brand new Digimon in this game that debuted in Time Stranger. Is there one that's super early that I can talk about? It doesn't matter. Anyway, you can go find out yourselves. But there are Digimon that debut super early throughout the game. So seeing those, whether it was through official reveals or in the game, and there's even a Digimon, I can talk about Callismon, right?
Yeah, sure.
There's a Digimon called Callismon who we have not seen in basically anything for when I was like, you know, a toddler probably age, maybe slightly older. So seeing that fully 3D for like the first time in a video game and having a prominent role, it was Digimon Twitter was crazy that day.
I think it's particularly fun as well from like a new fan standpoint because whether or not it was intentional, I like to think it was intentional with like the zoom out and kind of like the zoom through that they do initially of Central Town that you get. It really like expanded my mind because again, I didn't know anything about Digimon and I was like, oh, they have like their own civilization. Like you're seeing people that they're running their shops, they're hanging out, they're having drinks and chatting and laughing. And I was like, I don't think I understood that like Digimon are their own civilization. And like I could feel like my brain just expanding in terms of like what a Digimon is and the potential for like them as like beings, and like the respect rose immediately. It was like all like happening in an instant kind of thing, but it was just like, whoa, okay. And I think it was a really amazing introduction to Digimon, which is why I think it's such a good game for even someone who knows literally nothing about Digimon to play, because I think you can learn everything that you need to know from Time Stranger alone. So.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect place to start any game. And also, like you say, it gives you that appreciation. I think it's one of the best games for also giving you an idea of like the Digimon status quo, like how these Digimon, like you say, like they've got their own villages and stores and stuff, which might be a preconception that some people don't have about Digimon. So yeah, I think that's, if you got to start anywhere, it's definitely this game.
I think that's a very good point. Karn, you should be you are a professional Digimon spokesman and you're doing a great job of it. But that for this episode is all we have time for. KarnEX, Jahara Jayde, thank you so much for joining us to talk about these little digital monsters that we all love so much. And stick around. Very soon we'll have episode 2 coming up. So stick with us and go play Digimon Story Time Stranger right now. Like, what are you waiting for? Bye-bye.
Go. Bye.